Bruce, the race for the final wildcard spot in the Eastern Conference is coming down to the wire. The Montreal Canadiens are currently inside that cut line, but just barely. They've got 4 other teams hot on their tail, and while most of these squads have been struggling of late, one team, Bruce, is eventually going to step up and grab it. So how do you like Montreal's chances of holding off these other teams down the stretch?
Well, you know what? It's an interesting question because Montreal's lost 4 games in a row, and you would think at this stage of the year, when other teams have lost 4 in a row, they almost drop out of the picture. But I mean, they're still hanging in there. But the biggest thing for Montreal is they got a 3-game gauntlet, including Florida and Carolina right now. So I mean, it's going to be tough. I think if they win 1, they'll still be in the running. If they win 2, they will be improve their status, and if they win 3, they will make it. But I mean, it's one of those things where they got to win at least one of those games because the other teams aren't winning. And I mean, as long as they've got that point edge, the other teams have to probably win 2 games. If Montreal wins 1 in this next little thing, and then they get a chance to come home, then I think they could finish it off. They could see the light at the end of the tunnel. But if one team is going to come after them, and I mean, I've still believed this the whole year, I got to believe the way Shesterkin is playing with the Rangers, and the Rangers haven't been that good. But I mean, if Shesterkin plays the way that he's capable of playing, I think that's the team that will sneak in. They certainly have the pedigree. They won the President's Trophy last year. It's time for the Rangers to step up if they want to get into the playoffs.
Yeah, and the Habs do need to tighten up defensively as well. A couple of high-scoring games of late. They've allowed 12 goals in their last 2. So, Bruce, 3 weeks from now, the regular season will be in the book. So if it is Montreal, though, that punches their ticket to the playoffs, what do you think will be the #1 reason why?
Well, I really believe it'll be their goaltending and their defensive play. When they were winning, when they were on that roll, they weren't giving up much. They weren't winning 6-5 games, but they were winning the 4-1 and the 3-1, the games that they're supposed to win. And when at this time of the year, it comes down to defense. If you can stop pucks from going in the net, you're going to get the opportunity to win. And so, I mean, Montreal's got to bottle it up. Montembeault will probably play the most of these games coming down the stretch, and when he's hot, he's great. When he's not, he's very average. So, I mean, we need a hot Montembeault to come down the stretch for the Canadiens if they're going to make in the playoffs.
Yeah, the goal for Montreal was to play meaningful games down the stretch this season. I guess you could say that's mission accomplished, but now they're so close to making the playoffs. How crucial is it, Bruce, for the growth and development of like a younger team like the Habs to get that playoff experience this year?
Yeah, I don't think, you know what, I don't think if you asked any Canadian or any member of the Montreal Canadiens, they'd say, as long as we are playing important games in March, this is great. They are right there on the cusp of making the playoffs, and when you're making the playoffs, anything can happen, as we all know. So I mean, I don't think they'd be satisfied with it. If this was January, okay, I could be satisfied with this. We weren't going very good in January, but so I'd be satisfied with playing important games in March. Now we're in March. We're almost in April. Now you cannot be satisfied with that being your goal. Your goal is to make it. If you're this close, you got to throw everything but the kitchen sink at them, and you hope to win it, because if you make it, anything can happen.
Yeah, this race is extremely tight, though. 4 teams within 3 points of the Habs. And you mentioned the Rangers, that if it's not Montreal, you think it's New York's ability to overtake the pack here in the final 10 or 11 games. But, Bruce, the Rangers have underachieved all season. What gives you hope that, in the final few weeks here, they're going to flick a switch and just be able to get it done?
Well, I don't know. I just picked them early on to make the playoffs, and I want to stick to my guns. I don't want to be the guy changing teams every third day when you see a win or a loss. I think at some point their core players have got to play the best. I mean, their goalie's playing the best. Fox is starting to play better, okay? I mean, JT Miller has been okay since the trades come, but the guys like Trocheck, Kreider, Zibanejad, these guys are good. Lafreniere, they got to step it up and say, hey, boys, it'll be too embarrassing if we don't make the playoffs after winning the President's Trophy. And I mean, if they make it, they got to play against the Caps, who they played in the playoffs last year. I think that would be great. But I think it's between them and Montreal. I mean, Columbus has got a pretty tough schedule here. The Islanders found a way to sneak in, but last year, but I just don't think they have enough. And their special teams are so bad that, I mean, you're going to need your special teams at this crucial time of the year if you want to be successful.
Yeah, you talk about embarrassing for the Rangers if they don't make the playoffs. The year after winning the President's Trophy, they'd be just the 4th team to ever do that, the first since Boston in 2015. Thanks, Bruce.